had a lot of problems trying to understand why depressed kids could get strung out on downers or barbiturates.
An accident is when 3 or 4 or 5 unlikely things happen at the same time. I had been taking benzodiazepines since 2016.
Just didn't seem to make sense, like if you're depressed you would want to take speed, amphetamine, something to kick you up. Why would you take something that would sort of knock you out?
I couldn't sleep. I don't think I slept at all for something on the order of 3 weeks.
I couldn't understand it until I started doing some animal research and thinking about it. It became really clear to me.
But I took the benzodiazepine the way that it was prescribed.
Yeah.
So I asked my doctor to increase the benzodiazepine dose, but what seemed to happen as a consequence of that was that I just got more anxious.
And that is that barbiturates are just like dying. Okay? It's just like suicide.
Right. Propofol as a heavy sedating agent, which basically made me unconscious for 9 days.
For example, when you take downers, they totally suppress REM sleep, which is one of the stages of sleep in which you do most of your dreaming. So when you take downers, you don't dream.
I stopped taking them entirely and tried ketamine, which is a treatment for depression. Well, neither of those were a very good idea as it turned out.
You can just sort of look around, you say, the world eats it, I want to get out. We ask the question, could you get a rat to put itself to sleep to escape an aversive situation? Okay?
And I don't remember this part of it from December 15th onward. You and Andre, your husband, took me out of that hospital and we went to Russia, of all places, near Moscow, to try a treatment offered by a clinic there that used.
And we implanted the rats with cannula tubes, okay, in the jugular vein that were chronically implanted, mounted to the skulls. So we could sort of hook them up to an automatic syringe which automatically injected drugs into them. We used barbiturates. Okay?
And it's so strange because we're now in Serbia, weirdly enough, in Belgrade of all bloody places, and they modified the medication that I was taking in Florida, which is where we were last, and I don't know.
This was wired up to a lever, so the animal could press the lever and knock himself out. Okay?
A dependence is more ethically questionable, right? Because you think, well, everyone thinks, well, you know, what did the person obviously made some errors in choice that contributed to this. And that's a reasonable objection, and despite the fact that there are many people who,
if the animal wanted to escape from the situation by going to sleep, all he had to do was press the lever. Boom. Out cold. Anyway, we found that both animals, under normal conditions, didn't press the lever very much. Okay?
But when I woke up, I was first catatonic and then delirious. I can remember the delirium that lasted a whole day, consisted of a sort of dream-like hallucination that I'd been kidnapped. Yeah, I remember that I was kidnapped by people, oddly enough, who lived in Florida. And they were like very rural, backwoods people. And
Florida tree people.
Florida tree people, yeah. And that they were going to kill, yeah. The leader of this little gang, Florida tree kidnapped me and were going to kill me because the leader was going to kill me because he.
But when we delivered either mild electric shock, we use a peculiar kind of electric shock. It was very, very short duration, extremely short duration, and high intensity.
It's like being whipped. That's another way of thinking about it. Although I really think I would have, sounds melodramatic, but I think if I had to pick whipping, I suppose it would depend on how big a whip.
Not too high, just enough so that the animal would sort of jump.
You can't live for 2 years if you're being constantly prodded with something excruciatingly painful on a moment-to-moment basis. It's just not, and there's no escape, there's no relief. That's just not possible. It wasn't possible.
We found that when we shocked the animals in this way, they would go over, press the lever, knock themselves out. It was incredible. I'd never seen anything like it.
What's the old saying? Physician, heal thyself, right? I wrote a self-help book. I'm a psychologist. It's like, well, why the hell didn't I see this coming? And why wasn't I more cautious? And the next question is, why should people take anything I say seriously? One thing I've been able to continue doing through all of this is I'm writing a new book.